So, now that I'm not muted, what's up, everybody? I did miss y'all today, but my stupid internet did not want to work today. So, here we are. They were replacing lines, guys, is what it was. That was the excuse for today. Whatever. It is what it is. They were saying they were putting in new lines to prevent the issues that had been going on from continuously going on. So, whatever. So, you guys, I missed you guys this morning. I didn't get a chance to go over what we were going to go over this morning. And now we are here tonight covering the true story behind the Long Island Lolita movie. And maybe we'll talk about some other stuff after the fact. Let's see who all jumps in with us tonight. Let's see who we have here. Let's see here. Let's see. Mrs. M's in the house. Great to see you, Mrs. M. Thanks for joining us. Leah Story, thanks for joining us. The Doozer Doo, great to have you here. Miss Cindy Ann, all the way from Rome. Great to have you. Let's see. SW Fireflies in the house. Sophie, great to see you. One moment, folks. Okay. I'm sorry about that. Uncle Talaus. I think it's Uncle Talaus. Welcome. Good to have you here. Miss Brandy the OG, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Daisy Dead's in the house. So great to have you here. Legendary CEO. Thank you for joining us today. Mama Bear's in the house. Good to see you, Mama Bear. Thanks for being here. Noni McPoppins. Great to have you here. Thanks for joining us. CL, welcome back. Good to see you. Miss Tiffany Guzman, always happy to see you. And Lena B. And Lena B. Or Nina B. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses. Great to have you. Thanks for joining us. Always happy to see you guys. Let me see. Anybody else? I think that is it. Did I miss anybody else? I hope I pronounced your Uncle Toulouse. Toulouse. I'm sorry. Either way, correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, my internet is always problems. It's been issues for the year and a half that I've been here at this place, guys. I did it again. At some point, guys, I think this is part of my wardrobe. I always have these on my damn head. This is hilarious. Mama Bear pointed this out to me the other day, and I really didn't think nothing of it. Okay, that I've always got these up here. And then Mrs. M said something, and somebody else has mentioned it to me. And I almost feel like if I don't have them there, something is wrong. Okay, when I get up in the morning and I start doing my day, and I go outside, we have a lot of stuff outside I have to tend to. I have to get the pool checked and running and all that stuff, and we have a lot of plants and stuff we have to water. I got to feed the outside animals, blah 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 blah. Okay, so I go outside, I get my clothes dressed, all that fun stuff, and then I take these and put them on. I go outside because it's bright out here. Okay, what is up, Amy D? Good to see you. We're gonna talk about that, but anyhow, so when I'm not wearing them, they go up here so that I don't lose them. Okay, and with that, it's just become a regular habit. So I constantly have them on my head now whenever I'm in here on the live streams, to the point where people notice, like, why do you always have sunglasses on your head? I always do. And I have like 35 pair of sunglasses too. I did miss Amy D. For those of you that are interested, I want you to tune in tomorrow at noon between 12 and 12:30. We will be here we're going to review Thou Shalt Not Kill's video. Okay. We're going to review it. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to get into that tomorrow between 12 and 12:30. My regular streaming time. I hope you guys were all going to be here to join me for that, because there's a lot to talk about with that, folks. There really is. Very much so. Uncle Toulouse says I'm very famous. Well, okay then. It's great to have you here. Appreciate you. Uncle Toulouse. Is that how you pronounce it? It's really me, guys. All right. Miss Kelly, good to see you. I did not miss you, my dear. I'm so sorry. I probably looked right over top your name. My apologies. You know I would never do that on purpose. I love you guys to death. All of you guys. Salty's in the house. Good to see you. These are not women's glasses, Mama Bear. These are men's glasses. Why do you always do that to me? Asking me if I'm wearing women's glasses. She did it to me before. These are Pugs brand. These ones are. If you can see it. I have these ones. I also have these ones that are sitting here. These are men's too. I think I did have a pair of my wife's. She has a pair of not Gucci, but another brand. Or something that's got the thing on the side here. That I threw those on one time too because it was bright and I couldn't find mine. So yeah, I did have my wife's on one time. Uncle Touchy. Too loose? Don't start, bro. No. Nobody wants to talk to you right now. Miss Bonnie Bailey's in the house. Good to see you. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Grab your coffee, tea, whatever it may be. Come on, sit down. Have a conversation with me. I missed you guys today. I really did. I did not know what to do with myself today because I'm used to doing that. By the way, for those of you that tuned in last night to the Drunk Turkey Show, I do very much appreciate you so very much. We all do. I know Jules does. Even Daniel and Blue do. So thank you guys so much for that. I do appreciate that so very much. I don't know. I don't think the show was that great. I think I could have been a little bit better with certain things. That's just me. But I appreciate all the kind words for everybody that said that it was good. I felt like I should have said or done more. I don't know. But I'm on somebody else's show, so I was trying to be respectful of their show. I don't want to act like I typically do in here. So that's all I'm saying. Good to see you, Danielle. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Miss Bonnie. And those guys, for those of you that didn't hear it, they got some luck bouncing around right now. I'm super proud of them. If it happens, Daniel was saying that they have been contacted by NBC and Hulu about partaking in a possible something for some type of a show that Hulu's going to be doing. And that's like, yes, finally somebody out here with all the work that we put in, finally somebody out here is going to get something or get somewhere. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm like super proud of them for that. Welcome, Miss Crystal. Good to see you. So great to have you here. And that's okay, Leah. Yeah, that's why I like having conversations with Daniel because we can disagree and still shake hands at the end, walk away just as we did before. Because that's the way we should be able to do that. You know what I mean? That's basically what this is all based out. My platform itself is based on guys too. So understand, that's what it's all about. It's me, BK. 1 second, folks. It's me, BK. BK, huh? BK who? Oh, are we claiming to be Brian Koberger? Jumping in a live stream from jail, huh? Well, thank you, CL. I appreciate that so very much. I hope you guys did get something out of the discussion. Again, everybody has their different theories and whatever you want to call it on different variations of the stories. Well, thank you, Doozer Doo. I appreciate that. And what did Miss Cindy say? I missed that one. Well, thank you so very much, Cindy. And I had no doubt that Jules would. Jules is, she's just awesome, guys. I have a very high respect for her. Um, as you guys heard, she has her degrees and she does a lot, guys. She really does. She's a single mother. She does homeschooling. She takes care of her children. She works and she does this. I mean, I have more respect for her than I can explain. And she's very intelligent. She's very intellectual. And again, it's all about the respect, folks. Very much so. What's going on with this? Hold on a second, everybody. I gotta fix something here. There we go. Now we're good. Right. It's obviously not BK, folks. So, I mean, let it be what it is. What's up, 12? Ciao to you too. I know. I've been thinking it was Friday all day too. It's weird. Natalie B, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. American Princess, thanks for jumping in with us. She is. She is very much Firefly. I agree with you. And we and her both kind of jumped out into this at the same time, you know, got our feet wet, and we were on other shows with at the same time too, is how we kind of met. Another show that we used to go on, and we just kind of bounced off each other with our knowledge of different scenarios and the cases we were working on, and we just always have worked very well together. And as I've always said too, we're always kind of on the same page, in the same chapter of the same book on any case we're working on. So I very much enjoy working with her. We did a case one time where she jumped in here because nobody else was covering it but me. It was kind of a crazy situation. So, she's like, I'm glad you're covering this, Dago, blah, blah, blah. By the end of the stream, 4 hours later, we were digging during the live stream, trying to figure out what the hell happened with this one. So we both have the same type of passion too, guys. So that's why, why we get along so well, I think. Good to see you, Eve and Salty. Thanks for joining us. Donna Melton, welcome. Did you happen to see? Yes, I did. For those of you that haven't heard or just jumped in, I wasn't able to go live this morning because they were changing out internet lines out here. My apologies. Otherwise, we would have done it this morning, but we will be doing it tomorrow between noon and 12:30. We are going to review Thou Shalt Not. Thank you, Cindy. Thou Shalt Not Kill True Crime. We're going to review his video, a couple of his videos, and talk about it. If you guys haven't tuned into him yet, guys, please do. Go over there. It's called Thou Shalt Not Kill True Crime. Give him a like, give him a follow, subscribe, check him out, guys. I mean, he's got some definitely some interesting videos. The guy has put in the work. He's in Moscow, driving back and forth. He's in Washington. He's going and doing his thing. You know what I mean? He is doing his thing, putting in the footwork that a lot of us wish we could do. So I have mad respect for him right now for doing that, and that's why I want to talk about the stuff he's putting out and, see what our think tank in here can come up with based on what he has talked about and the things that we've already talked about. So that is going to be tomorrow, like I said, between 12 and 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, as always. And I can't stop apologizing. Brandy, I felt horrendously guilty for not being here today. And I was so angry, Thank you, Heather. I appreciate it, sis. There's the link, guys. If you haven't checked him out, go check him out. Show him some love. The man is busting his hump, doing his thing. I always miss the good stuff. What did you miss now, Mama Bear? Ow. Oh, because you won't be here tomorrow. Yes, that's okay. You can always go back and watch it when you get some time. We missed you, but thank you, Salty. I missed you guys. I seriously did. I don't feel like I'm a complete person if I don't do my daily early afternoon stream. I just don't. My little granddaughter's sneaking out behind me. So, all right, guys. Sorry, folks. I got people bouncing around behind me here. I am going to be getting that all changed up here soon. I'll be moving my rig, my setup here to my office in the den, and that way I can use the background like I'm supposed to. You guys don't have to look at my OnlyFans back here and all that fun stuff. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Miss Brandy. I understand, Amy. You guys that are kind of newer in here, you'll get to see how the way I am with this. This is important to me. I feel like a lot of people rely on me, even if they don't. I feel like that, and it's something that's important to me. So, good to see you, Ann. I appreciate that. Hold on, everyone. Well, thank you so much. Like I said, I did miss you guys this morning too, or this afternoon, I should say. So, Alex Murdoch was having an affair with Stephen Smith. That seems to be the consensus a lot of people have been talking about lately. It's kind of interesting, if you ask me. I didn't cover the Murdoch case because I was head and toes deep into this stuff and something else too. So. Thank you, Brittany. I appreciate that from all you guys. I really do. And I missed you guys too. My meatballs. I didn't get my fill of the meatballs in the sauce this afternoon, so I felt a little off all day. And tonight, it's not the greatest thing in the world. We are Doc Terry's in the house. Good to see you. All the meatballs. We got so many new members too. I am super excited about that, guys. I appreciate you guys so very much, and it's great to have you guys in the family. Thank you so much, Doc. I appreciate that. As I look through, everybody's green. Everybody's green, pretty much. D. Smith's in the house. Good to see you. And like I said, Lori Wilhelm. Good to see you as well. The family's growing so much. I am super appreciative of that. And all of you guys, seriously, moderators, you guys have been doing great stuff too. Lake Effect 812, good to see you. First time here, welcome. Well, you jumped in on your first time here. I hope it's okay. I do a series on Mondays and Thursday nights where I will go in, we'll pick a specific movie that's been put out. And I put the true story out behind that actual movie for anybody that wants to hear that. And then again tomorrow, and we'll probably talk about a little other stuff after the fact because there's not much to that, guys. And then after the fact, we will talk a little bit about some other stuff. And then again, I will be live tomorrow between 12 and 12:30. Thank you, Miss Heather, to talk and review Thou Shalt Not Kill's video, guys. And thank you, guys. Miss Heather, I appreciate that. I am a 100% crowdfunded channel, folks. So anybody that would like to donate to the PayPal, Cash App, and the Venmo to keep the channel going, because that's what keeps me running out here, guys. It pays the bills, which are coming due. Internet, StreamYards, all that fun stuff. There are the links for that, and it is very much appreciated. Just for those of you that don't know that, I do appreciate the super chats, the super stickers, all that. I will receive that next month from YouTube after they take their percentage, their 45% out of that. But I do appreciate that from all you guys. This stuff here, anybody that donates to these apps, I get that right away. And it does definitely go into the account that I have set up to deal with just this. So I am so very grateful to you guys for keeping me out here on YouTube. More than you guys know, for those of you that donate and are so generous to do that. I appreciate you guys. Sarah D's in the house. Good to see you. Is that the other Heather? Nope, that's our Heather. I see them eyes, Miss Sarah. Miss Gina, good to see you. I'm watching on my TV and I can't see that bottom. Oh, I'm sorry. It's because of this stupid banner thing here. You don't want to see my ugly mug anyway. There we go. All right, guys. So again, for those of you that aren't familiar, tonight we are covering the. There was a movie that came out. There was a couple of them actually. One of them I just went with the one. It's called the Long Island Lolita. It's about a woman by the name of. Thank you so much, Sarah. Amy Fisher, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Joey Buttafuocco, and his wife Mary Jo Buttafuocco. Um, Kind of a bit of a love triangle and an attempted murder that luckily the lady lived through. Somebody had DM'd me and asked about this story for me to tell it, so here we are tonight. So for those of you that may not be interested, my apologies. I promise you that these, some are good, some aren't that good, some are better, some are not that better. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But we will get into this, guys. Oh, awesome, Doc. 2 blocks from where that happened. I think I told some of you guys the other night. I am waiting on a phone call. Miss Crystal, good to see you again. Yeah, it happened in the early 90s, folks. But we did a show about 2 months ago. Some of you guys, I think I told you guys. It was about a movie called The Good Nurse, about a male nurse that got a job at. It was multiple. We did actually, Mama. We're at 130 members now. It's absolutely amazing. Got a job at multiple hospitals in the area they lived in. Okay, and he was a great nurse. Um, Too great to an extent because he was doing some things he shouldn't do and was taking other people's lives by doing that, injecting them with insulin, so on and so forth. Okay, and he made very good friends with this woman by the name of Amy, who was also a nurse. She had some health problems, single mother, so on and so forth. They got close, became very, very close friends, and these things started happening in the hospital they worked at. She caught on to it and caught on to who was doing it. Welcome, Miss Carolyn. Good to see you. And ended up, long story short, working with the FBI and the police to take him down so he would stop doing it. And they made a movie out of it called The Good Nurse, so on and so forth. We did a story like this and put it out a couple months back. Well, the actual nurse, the good nurse herself, Miss Amy, contacted my moderator via our TikTok account, I believe it was. Miss Heather. Miss Heather had a conversation with her, and she's interested. She's going to come on here and do a live interview with us and tell us the story from her side of things, which I think is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm super excited for it, and I can't wait. So that's something that's going to be pretty cool, I think. Instagram, thank you, Heather. I'm sorry, I get it mixed up. So yes. Thank you so much for all the kind words about Drunk Turkey, guys. I appreciate it. Canadian, good to see you. Carolyn as well. All right, folks. Let me get you guys rolling on this. I've been talking too much again. I missed it all early this afternoon. I didn't get to get it all out. Let me get this pulled up for you guys. Okay. Great to have you guys here, guys. Please do me a favor. I know I forgot to say it. Time to move to Florida. There you go. Thank you so much, Carolyn. If you haven't done it, guys, please leave me a little DNA on that like button on your way in the door. Share this out to whoever you may think would be interested. And don't forget to leave me a comment after the show if you would, please. I definitely appreciate that. Most definitely appreciate that. All right. Come on. Every time my internet goes down for some reason, The system has to reload everything all the time. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. All right. So this is set up in different parts, folks, because of the way that it was put out. So bear with it if you would. I appreciate it. Here we go. Oh, all right. Where is it now? Villainous Cupcake. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Angels Among Us. Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much for that. I know Jules was absolutely amazing, as I knew she would be, and she always is. So, okay. Why is this doing this? Okay, let's try it that way then. Oh my goodness, look at that. We got a new meatball, folks. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. Great to have you here. All you meatballs are so very awesome. 1 second here. Villainous Cupcake. It is so great to have you here. Welcome to the sauce. Congrats, congrats, congrats. All right. Excuse me. All right. Yeah, like I said, there were different variations of this. It's hard to put it together. So, 1 moment, folks. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Nothing wants to work. I don't know what they did to my computer. I got it, though. No worries. Okay. All right. We're going to start off with this part of it and move forward. Sophie, good to see you. Thank you so much, Miss Heather. Appreciate that. Welcome to all 6 new members. Wow, that's awesome. Villainous Cupcake gifted 5 memberships. That's absolutely amazing. Let me see who we have here. Let's see. Canadian Cat Lady was gifted. The Dozer Do. Pink Peony. Welcome, Pink. Good to see you. Suzanne Silverstein. Good to have you here. And welcome to the family. All of you guys. That's for all of you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Cupcake, for that. That's very much appreciated. All right. All right, let's get this on the road. I keep talking. You guys don't want to hear me talking. Joe, are you using marryings? No, Carolyn, I do not believe I am. No, I had an issue with something when my system shut down. When they did what they did, it didn't shut down right, so I didn't get a chance to go back and fix everything. So my apologies, folks. I should have had that prepared better for you guys, so I'm really sorry for that. Again, I wasn't expecting the system to shut down, but it is what it is. Let me move that there. And again, guys, if you can, please let me know how well the audio is working. I do appreciate that. I want to make sure you guys are hearing everything okay and clearly. I have a couple secrets I'm going to reveal today. Just got this info last week. All right, Uncle 2. Thank you. Appreciate it. You're going to reveal them right here, I guess, or let us know when you're ready. All right, guys, are you ready for this? Here we go. Make sure it's set up right for you guys. This way, give you guys some subtitles just in case you can't hear what they're saying and you are off to the races. And there we go.
Pulling the trigger on the wife of her 38-year-old lover. We'll have the story.
This is Channel 7 Eyewitness.
Sorry. Good to see you, Rumsey. Thanks for joining us. I didn't even see you there. I was just thinking of you and how much I feel like. And well, thank you. I hope if you're talking to me, thank you so very much. I appreciate that so very much. It makes me feel good. Yeah, I think that's part of some of the problem too, Carolyn. I've been so busy, I haven't been able to do any of that kind of stuff. So I will get it.
News with Bill Butel and Susan Rosejan. Scott Clark with sports. Sam Champion with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast and the Eyewitness News team. Now, Eyewitness News.
It started as a summer romance when she was just 15. Tonight, she's behind bars accused of trying to murder the wife of her 38-year-old lover. Good evening. Bill Butel is off tonight. I'm Greg Hurst.
And I'm Susan Rosejan. It's a tragic triangle. A Long Island teenager drawn to an older man, a married man. Nassau County Police say it was a secret affair that went from passion to rage. And when the bullets started flying, the wife was the first to know. Tappy Phillips has the story from Massapequa.
No one answered the door at the Buttafuocco home tonight, and visitors were unwilling to talk. But neighbors were still talking about the bizarre shooting of Mary Jo Buttafuocco and the arrest of 17-year-old Amy Fisher.
You hear like, oh, these drive-by shootings and everything. But then when you find out it's just like one incident, then, it makes you feel better about that.
I thought it was a jilted lover kind of thing. And this kind of neighborhood, the shooting's real rare. any kind of violence is pretty rare here because it's a really quiet neighborhood.
Police say Fisher, a high school senior, was having an affair with Mary Jo's husband, Joe Buttafuocco. They apparently met a year and a half ago at the Baldwin Auto Body Shop Buttafuocco owns, when Fisher's parents went there to have some work done.
She became involved in a sexual affair with him about a year ago. Joseph Buttafuocco was attempting to walk away from that affair recently, and Amy Fisher had an infatuation with him. That led us to the incident that occurred on Tuesday afternoon.
Police say Fisher walked up to the Buttafuocco home and shot Mary Jo once in the head. Neighbors told police they saw her sitting with a man in a dark-colored car shortly before the shooting, and police are still trying to determine how she got the gun. Amy was identified when Mary Jo awoke from her coma and told police what happened. Amy Fisher has been charged with attempted murder and is being held tonight without bail. Police say they expect to make at least one more arrest in this case, and that could very well be the man who was seen driving Amy Fisher to the Buttafuocco's home. In Mineola, Tappy Phillips, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And tonight, the wife, Mary Jo Buttafuocco, is in critical condition at Nassau County Medical Center.
Mary Jo Buttafuocco is still in the hospital tonight, recovering from a gunshot wound to the face. And tonight, Nassau County police are still searching for an accomplice to the love-smitten teenager who allegedly shot her. Police believe another teenager drove 17-year-old Amy Fisher to a home in Long Island where Buttafuocco was shot. Police have charged Fisher in that shooting. They say Fisher was having an affair with Buttafuocco's husband. Police are also trying to find the person who sold Fisher the gun.
The 17-year-old Long Island girl charged with shooting her lover's wife is not cooperating with Nassau County Police. They're looking for her alleged accomplice, but police say Amy Fisher of South Merrick will not tell them who drove her to the home of Mary Jo Buttafuocco last Tuesday. That's when the teenager allegedly shot Mrs. Buttafuocco in the head, critically wounding her.
With the
Police say it was
bird.
a crime of passion triggered by Joseph Buttafuocco's attempt to end his 2-year affair with Fisher.
Good afternoon, I'm Greg Hurst. Tonight, who's to blame for a dangerous love affair? 17-year-old Amy Fisher was in court today accused of shooting her lover's wife. The defense describes her as an innocent victim. The prosecution paints a much different picture. Plus, new allegations fly in court that make an unbelievable story even more difficult to understand. And these exclusive pictures of the victim, Mary Jo Buttafuocco, a cap covering the bandages of a bullet wound, walking with her husband outside their Long Island home. N.J. Burkett is live with the latest.
Greg, after a contentious arraignment this morning, she is being held tonight on $2 million bail. The defense is fighting at this very hour to get that bail lowered, but so far, no luck. And it appears, at least for now, that Amy Fisher will spend her 12th night here being held Amy Fisher looked absolutely terrified as sheriff's deputies rushed her past a gauntlet of photographers. In court, she appeared drawn and exhausted. And as her parents watched from the front row, she pleaded not guilty to charges of attempted murder. Then, when asked by the judge whether she should be released on bail, the prosecutor unleashed a merciless attack on Amy Fisher, a 15-minute tirade that sounded more like a summation. To call her a 17-year-old girl who lives at home and goes to high school, said Assistant DA Fred Klein, is as accurate as calling John Gotti a businessman who lives in New York City. I can't imagine a worse bail risk. Klein said Amy Fisher had been planning the crime for 9 months, staking out the Buttafuocco's home more than a dozen times, and once even aborted her plans at the last minute when she couldn't lure Mary Jo Buttafuocco outside. On May 19th, he says she succeeded, but failed in her murder attempt. But Klein told the judge that the only wound the victim had was a bullet in her head. Klein said at least 3 men have identified Amy Fisher as a prostitute. The defense waited its turn, then took on the prosecutor. He knows full well who put her into prostitution, said Eric Nyberg. Mr. Buttafuocco is the pimp who put her in the damned business, he said. I find it grotesque. The defense insists that the victim's husband, Joseph Buttafuocco, had ties to the ABBA escort service, where Amy Fisher began working last year. The Buttafuoccos attend daily rehabilitation sessions. Eyewitness News has learned that Mary Jo Buttafuocco is standing by her husband, who would speak only of his wife's recovery.
Recovering, thank God. Not totally, but it's going to be a long road.
Yeah. The judge set bail at $2 million. Amy Fisher's attorney said she fears Joseph Buttafuocco. When asked why, he paused for several seconds and said this.
She's a potential link between his freedom or lack of freedom.
The defense is hinting that somehow Joseph Buttafuocco is involved in his wife's shooting. More on that on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock tonight. For now, we're live at the Nassau County Jail, East Meadow, Long Island, where Amy Fischer is being held on $2 million bail. NJ Burkett, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
And it was exactly 2 weeks ago that Mary Jo Buttafuocco was shot and wounded, allegedly by Amy Fischer.
All right, Natalie, thank you so much. Another member. Great to have you in the family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got a crowded pot of sauce here, folks, with all these meatballs. But I am telling you right now, I am super happy about it. I appreciate it, and I'm so happy to have you guys here. So very much. That's a fact, Carolyn. That's a fact. There's some of this stuff might be a little sensitive or possibly violent, folks. So again, there's a trigger warning. If you're not comfortable with it, please feel free to step out at any time. You will not be judged or looked down upon if you're uncomfortable with it by any means. Thank you, Ms. Heather, for that. And again, welcome to the family, Natalie, and congrats. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Once again, and moving on. And this we're going to talk about this. This guy is he's a fugazi. That's all I can say. He gives the Italian. I don't even want to talk about him. He's just a piece, as far as I'm concerned, a big piece. I am definitely not thrilled with him ever, but it is what it is. We'll talk about it here in a minute. All right, what's up, Dan? Good to see you, Mr. Popper. Thanks for joining us tonight, brother. Good to have you here. Good to have you here.
It's frightening that one person can do so much damage, so much damage. It's frightening.
Mary Jo Buttafuocco, angry and outraged as Amy Fischer leaves court on bail and with a plea bargain deal to trim years off her prison term. Good evening, everybody. I'm Roz Abrams.
And I'm Greg Hurst. Bill and Diana are off tonight. And we begin with a done deal. The high school girl who admits shooting a Long Island housewife will pay for her crime of passion with years behind bars. And now Amy Fischer is said to be turning against her alleged lover. But will that make Joseph Buttafuocco the next target for prosecutors investigating his wife's shooting and alleged involvement with an underage girl? NJ Burkett has details.
I want to know if this was an accident.
Tonight, 4 months after the gunshot, hours after the plea bargain, Mary Jo Buttafuocco is bitter, angry at allegations against her husband, furious that the DA appears to be taking them seriously.
This girl is an attempted murderer, a liar, a prostitute, and the DA is accepting her statement that she and Joe were together. Something's wrong here. Something's real wrong.
It all began with a stunning confession. Amy Fischer, in her own words, for the first time.
I went up to her doorstep with a loaded gun in my pocket. I proceeded to talk to Mrs. Buttafuocco for approximately 10 to 15 minutes, at which time she turned around to walk away. I hit her on the back of the head. I went to hit her again, and the gun went off. I guess, obviously, I shot it.
Amy Fischer was emotionless, almost matter-of-fact, which was perhaps more chilling than the confession itself.
She fell on top of me on the ground. I tried to get her off of me. I hit her.
Hey, PW, Kaka, good to see you.
And I left. I ran away.
Is there any question in your mind to whether you wish to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Come on. Back up, fellas. Back up.
Seconds later, pandemonium outside the courthouse. Amy Fischer and her lawyer rushed out a side door. Her parents pushed their way past a crush of photographers in a daze. Amy Fischer had been charged with attempted murder, facing up to 25 years in jail. The guilty plea to reckless assault carries a minimum of 5, a maximum of 15. Tonight, the case has taken on a whole new dimension. Sources say she is prepared now to offer grand jury testimony that covers not only statutory rape charges, but allegations that Joseph Buttafuocco was an accomplice in the shooting of his own wife.
Well, we're investigating anything that he might have had to do or responsibility for the shooting of his wife, whether that involved having an affair with Miss Fisher, whether it involved more significant conduct on his part.
Although Joseph Buttafuocco refused reporters' questions tonight, his wife angrily defended him.
I'm not going to let this one person destroy our lives. I'm the system. I'll fight this system. I will fight it tooth and nail.
When asked tonight whether she still
yeah, Tiffany, it was 92.
Mary Jo Buttafuocco
Sorry.
told reporters, quote, "I'm starting to get afraid of what I might do to Amy Fisher. Never mind," she said, what Amy Fisher is going to do to me. Evidence on the statutory rape allegations, including Amy Fisher's testimony, could go to the grand jury, we're told, at any time. From the Nassau County Courthouse, Mineola, Long Island, NJ Burkett, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
In the meantime, Amy Fisher remains free on bail. She will be sentenced December 1st, and she must serve a minimum of 5 years in prison.
All right, all right, all right. Wow, welcome to all the new members. That was awesome.
A married doctor.
Good to have you here. Bill and Cupcake gifted 5 more. Evie Marie gifted 1. You guys are awesome. It's great to have you guys here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, yeah. So here's the deal, folks. This is how this went down. Amy Fisher, this obviously we know this happened in the Long Island, New York area. Was 16 going on 17. Okay. Her family was taking their vehicle to Buttafuocco owned, and his name is pronounced Buttafuocco, not Fuco or Fuoco or whatever the hell they were saying. They were butchering the name, but whatever. Her family had started, Joe owned a body shop, okay, in Long Island, and they would take their vehicles there for repairs, so on and so forth, and they had met each other a few different times, okay, and I think it was at one point, Amy had taken her car there, and Joe needed to run her home so that they could work on the car. And so he takes her home. They have a conversation. You know, Joey had a run-in with her multiple times. And which made me wonder, like, how many times do you need to have body work done in your vehicles? What are you guys doing? You know, it's kind of crazy, but whatever. You know, they had been in contact with each other a few times, with her parents around a few times, her parents not around a few times. So this one time, thank you again, Heather. He goes to take her home. They have whatever conversation takes place in the vehicle, and they get to her house. He's talking to her. I'm sure he was woeing her, you know, and wooing her, whatever you want to call it. They get inside the house, and they end up in her bedroom. From what she says, he throws her on the bed, professes his love to her. They engage in sexual relations, and basically, you know, from that moment on, she was in love with him. And she basically said, at 16 going on 17, you guys know the maturity levels in the mind. It's not fully developed, okay? You know, to her, that was her boyfriend at that point. This guy was, you know, 38 years old. She's 16 going on, she's 17, basically. Well, either way, yeah. So he starts to court her in a way. They start seeing each other twice a week. He's taking her to cheap motels, you know, treating her like nothing. She at some point, just to give you a little backstory, she came from a rough family, guys. She was her parents were split, you know, and they weren't very attentive to her and her needs, and just they weren't great parents. I'll just put it that way. Welcome, Bobby. Good to see you. So, you know, she's out doing this, doing that. They didn't have a whole lot of money. So at some point, it was found out that Amy was basically putting herself out there to make money. Okay, this was before her and Joey even got together. So they start seeing each other about twice a week, roughly, maybe a little bit more. He starts taking her to nice restaurants, buying her, jewelry, nice gifts, just doing the thing, and like, again, taking her to cheap motels and engaging in sexual activity with her, so on and so forth. In her mind, like, she's never experienced these types of things. She's never had anybody be nice to her, saying nice and sweet things to her to keep her interested in his scenario and his not scenario, but his situation that he had going on. Welcome, Virginia Wolf. Good to see you. Absolutely. Do not do that, guys. It's not worth it. And the women that we're with and in a relationship, they don't deserve it, guys. They don't. Anyway, moving on. So this is the scenario that's going on, and welcome, Crossroads. Good to see you. Thanks again, Miss Heather. I appreciate that. So, he keeps wooing her, wowing her, whatever you want to call it, as far as I'm concerned, and buying the expensive gifts for her, taking her to nice places, expensive restaurants, just treating her like you would treat somebody you're in a relationship with. Difference is he's in a relationship with his wife and not this girl who's a child still. Oh yeah, SNL has some skits on it too that I'll show you guys at some point here. But regardless, so after a period of time, I think it went on for about a year. Okay. Amy, she comes out and says, listen, I'm in love with you. You're my boyfriend per se. I think you need to leave your wife. That way we can have a full-time relationship that we don't have to hide from anybody. Okay. Of course, he's saying, telling her whatever she wants to hear, so on and so forth. Okay, yeah, he denies all this, but I know how this went. We all do. And, in his mind, he's not leaving his wife. He's got 2 children at home. This is his happy family. This was just his play toy that he had on the side, basically. It's disgusting. Did I reveal my secret? I don't have a secret, Rumsey. That was somebody up here that was talking about that. Even though there was a mutual affection, he still took advantage of her. Right. I mean, there was, but I'll never believe that Joe Buttafuocco was in love with Amy Fisher. He may have told her he was, but I don't think he was. It was convenient, and it was something for him to do, because he was a piece of garbage, in my opinion. He's a pervert. It is what it is. So I think 9 months during that year period of time, Amy had talked about multiple times with Joey about getting rid of, separating from Mary Jo. And Amy had said she had thought about ways to cause them to split, so on and so forth. Absolutely, Eve. I agree with that. 100% predator. And she kept saying these things to him, maybe you could do it this way. Maybe you could do it that way. We need to be together. We need to be able to be together without hiding this. So on and all these things, guys. And of course he's saying, yeah, baby. Yeah, I know. I'll take care of it. It'll be good. Forget about it. All that good stuff, blah, blah, blah. He's a piece of shit, folks. That's all he was, and I'm, yeah, I was getting ready to say that, Rumsey. He was probably off doing things with other women too. Okay. So it is what it is. That's just who he was. So, she goes out, she tells him, I could buy a gun. I could do this. I could do that. He denies it. What's up, Miss Sherry? Good to see you. He denies it, but I do believe that in his mind, he was going to try to get rid of Mary Jo. I truly believe that. Okay. Thank you, Heather. That's a good point there. Casualties of Love. I only remember the name because of the pic I posted for tonight. Right. That was the other one too. Yes. Thank you. No. It was somebody else that had said that I just repeated, Rumsey. But it still does, Miss CC. Good to see you, the sweetest lady on the internet. gave us all a bad name and makes all of us cringe. No lie. No lie. So she goes and buys this gun, and she's getting prepared to do this. And she tried to do it a couple different times. And she just couldn't do it because her conscience kicked in, And she just finally one day, I think it happened because there was a conversation they had. And, she was telling him something about that was something about that she was feeling about. It was almost a year, yeah. And he kind of blew it off. And I think that's what flipped her switch. That's what triggered her. Okay. And she goes over, as you guys saw, she knocks on the door and she tells Mary Jo comes to the door. She was out in the backyard painting or something like that. She sees this young girl at the door. She's like, "Hi, can I help you?" So on and so forth. She goes, "Yeah, I'm here because I need to talk to you about your husband, Joey." And Mary Jo said, I'm thinking like, oh, okay. She knows Joey, so it must be okay. And she's like, sure. She goes, "Can you come outside?" She goes outside and she's like, "What can I do for you?" And she's like, "Well, I came here because I needed to tell you that your husband, Joey, is having an affair with my little sister." Mary Jo, she says, like, "Oh, okay." And Amy says, "I have proof of it." And she pulls out a T-shirt from the garage, the body shop. And like Mary Jo said, she's like, everybody in Long Island has one of these T-shirts because that's what they do is they hand these shirts out. Okay. So it's what draws their business. They want their business put out all over Long Island. People wearing the shirts that advertises. So guys know how that goes. So she shows the shirt and she's like, okay, so be it. She was like, "I found this in my sister's bed." So Amy never claimed to be who she was to Mary Jo and never said that she was the one having the affair. She said it was her little sister. And she called her, Mary Jo said, "What's your name?" So on and so forth. She called herself Anne Marie. Okay. And, Mary Jo says she's thinking like this girl's crazy. And I guess the look that Amy had on her face looked like she was crazy. And Mary Jo says she goes to turn to walk back in the house. She grabs the door. And next thing you know, she said, like, it felt like her head exploded. Her whole body exploded. So she tried to turn away from something. Amy turns and runs off to a car that was running, waiting for her, jumps in and takes off. Mary Jo falls to the ground. She said she tries to move a little bit to turn. She can't move. And then she was out. Next thing you know, she wakes up. And the nurse is standing over her, telling her, "You're going to be okay. Welcome. It's good to have you. I'm glad you're awake." Things like that. Sorry. So they start talking. Mary Jo's like, what happened with this and that? She was in a coma and so on and so forth. And, Joey's standing there by the side of the bed. "Thank God you're alive." But all that stuff, you know what I mean? So, Amy gets arrested, not too long after it happened. And I said I would give you more. Okay. All right, Uncle, go for it, brother. Thank you for what you've given us. Keep it coming, bro. So she gets arrested, so on and so forth. You know how all that goes down. And when she's talking to the police, she tells them that Joey knew of her intentions, that he was telling her and like pushing her to do it in a sense, which of course he denied. He said that she was a pathological liar, this, that, everything else. And obviously Mary Jo, once this happened, the bullet was stuck in her head. Okay. They had to leave it. They couldn't remove the bullet. As you notice with her, when you see her eyes, I think one of her right eye, I think, is dead. She had some paralysis in her face and runs the risk of being paralyzed to this day if that bullet moves in the wrong direction. It's kind of crazy. Definitely, Eve. Definitely a manipulator, unfaithful, and a user to get what he wanted. Piece of shit. Sorry. Just that's exactly what I see him as. So, give me here. Let me pull this up. That's where we're at that point in the story. And I want to give you guys this next piece here. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. 1 second, folks. Sorry about that. All right. And we'll go from here. I'm sure you guys would love to hear it from somebody besides me. And there is true life story for sure. 100%. And Mary Jo is still doing great. Her and Joe are divorced now, thank God. But believe it or not, she stood by this guy, believed every word he said, realizing that Amy was a liar. She's a prostitute. And I have so much respect and love for Mary Jo. So, all right, here it comes this, folks. Again, let me know how the audio is, please, and thank you.
Remember it every day of my life. The smell of the grass, and the day was sunny and nice. It was a regular day, just like every other day. It was Tuesday.
37-year-old Mary Jo Buttafuocco decided to spend the day painting some benches in the backyard of her waterfront home. Her husband Joey had already left for work at his family's thriving body shop. The couple's 2 children were off at school. Mary Jo had been painting for only a short time when the doorbell rang.
And I could see this young girl standing there. And she said, "Are you Mrs. Buttafuocco?" And I said, "Yeah." She says, "Well, can you come out here for a minute? I need to talk to you about your husband, Joey." I figured, all right, she knows Joey.
The Long Island housewife walked outside and stood only a few feet from the teenage girl.
And that's when she said to me, "I'm here to tell you that your husband is having an affair with my little sister." And I did this. I said, "Yeah," like that. And she says, "Yes." I said, "Well, who are you?" "Well, my name's Anne-Marie."
And I think that was part of it, guys. That I think that Amy expected her to have a more explosive reaction to it. You know what I mean? And it was something that she didn't really believe. I mean, this is a tough woman here, okay? She didn't believe it. And I think that is what maybe triggered Amy more. She swears up and down that she did not pull the trigger on purpose. I don't know if I believe it. She said that, like, she turned, and when she turned real quick to grab Mary Jo, that's when the gun went off, and it was right here. So I don't know. We'll see. It's up to your perception as to what you believe on it, in my opinion. So,
Anne-Marie. Do you know Joey? Yeah, I do. I've had worked on, at the shop.
Mary Jo didn't believe the teenager.
And then she said she had proof, and then she handed me a complete auto body T-shirt, which half of Long Island owns because that's what they do. They give out T-shirts to customers. So I said, "Well, what do you mean?" "Oh, I found this in my sister's bed." So I said, "Well, I'll go in, I'll give Joey a call, tell him you came by. Thanks a lot." And I kind of thought to myself, this girl's nuts. And I turned my head, and I opened the door, and that was the last part of my life as I knew it for 37 years. I felt an explosion on the side of my head. I never saw the gun. I remember the force pulled me back. I remember hitting the ground, but it didn't hurt. And I tried to roll over, and I couldn't move. And then I went out. That was the end. That was the last thing I remember.
I agree, Rumsey.
The teenager ran to a waiting maroon car and sped off. The Long Island housewife was left for dead in a pool of blood. When police arrived, they found live ammunition scattered on the front walk and in the garden, and a spent casing from a bullet. The Long Island housewife held the key to tracking down her attacker. But police would have to wait to see if she survived.
The next thing I remember was a nurse standing over me. I heard her say to me, "You've been shot, Mary Jo." And I remember going, I was shot? I was shot?
A bullet was lodged in her neck. She was paralyzed.
And here's the thing, folks. It's kind of crazy to think about this. If you see this scar right here, when she shot, it severed her carotid artery. Like it went right, it split it right in half. She's lucky she didn't bleed to death, bleed out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very quick and easy. You know, when I was involved in EMS and fire, I've seen it happen to people. Like, boom, it can happen quick. So she was very lucky to do that and to make it through this period, you know, and still be a functioning person with no issues. You know, she did have issues after the fact in the beginning, but she's back to 100%, which I'll show you guys. The interview you're seeing now with her in here, this is fairly recent and she's doing great. So exactly, Carolyn. If she'd have been in the house, I think she would have died because nobody would have known for a certain amount of time and, you know, end the story. So yes, Miss Virginia, that is correct.
On the right side of her face and deaf in her right ear. The bullet had barely missed her brain and spinal cord. The next day, Mary Jo gave detectives a detailed description of the shooter. She also told investigators about the T-shirt the teenager had shown her as supposed proof that her husband was having an affair.
It was when she tells me of this T-shirt that there was a reaction from Joe Buttafuocco, and he was standing next to the bed at the time of this interview. And
it was
Joe
a gun that Amy had purchased or got from somebody.
Who is this girl with the complete auto body T-shirt? He says, "It's Amy." I says, "Amy who?" He said, "Mr. Fisher's daughter."
It would soon emerge that the shooter was a seductive 17-year-old high school senior who in her spare time was also a call girl. The story of Amy Fisher became that strange phenomenon in the world of American justice, a nationwide soap opera acted out in the news media and in the courtroom. Jay Leno and David Letterman would have a field day with the entire cast of characters. But behind the jokes lay a slew of real issues: teenage prostitution, child abuse, and obsession. Reporters would dub Amy the Long Island Lolita, a reference to the novel by Vladimir Nabokov, in which a middle-aged man becomes obsessed with a young girl and is eventually seduced by her. Amy Fisher would claim she was having an affair with Joey Buttafuocco, that she was obsessed with this man twice her age, and that he had encouraged her to kill Mary Jo. The kind of superheated charges that are often difficult to substantiate or to refute. Next, police tracked down Amy Fisher. That she was the perpetrator was easy to determine. What took a little longer to understand was Amy herself. As 37-year-old Mary Jo Buttafuocco recovered from the shooting, Long Island police were trying to track down the teenage girl who nearly took her life. The Long Island housewife said that her attacker had shown her a T-shirt from her husband's body shop and claimed it was evidence that he was having an affair. Joe Buttafuocco told police he suspected the girl was 17-year-old Amy Fisher. He said that Amy and her father were regular customers at the body shop and that the only T-shirt he had recently given out was to Amy.
He provides me not only with a physical description of her, he tells me what street she lives on. He provides me with a phone number for a home and also a beeper number that she has. It's during that conversation, he also relates to me how he has photographs back at the body shop of her. He said that Amy had given him those photographs.
Mary Jo demanded to know more.
I kept saying to Joe, "Who is this person? Who is this person?" And he said, "She's been down to the shop a number of times." I said, "Well, why would she do this?" And he goes, "I don't know. I don't know."
Amy Fisher lived on a quiet street in nearby Merrick, Long Island, with her parents. Detectives had Joe Buttafuocco beat the teenager so they could track down her whereabouts. She responded immediately to his page.
After it was something she did willingly. She felt that she was in love with him. He treated her a certain type of way. So, sadly, it was willingly. But she wasn't That's awesome, Natalie. Thank you for that. We'll have to look into that as well. She was 16 going on 17. Her mental, like, decision-making process was not fully mature, in my opinion. So, I feel that, you can't blame that part of it on her. Well, I'm not saying that he was a monster, but he knew better than to do what he was doing, in my opinion. You know what I mean, Natalie? She had her part in it too. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. He knew better. He shouldn't have been involved in that situation. He's 38 years old. She's 16. Like, come on, it's not right. So it is, once again, what it is. Moving on.
He asked her where she was. She said she was in her house at the time the call was being made. Within moments after that, she left the house, drove down her block, and was stopped a short distance away, and was brought into the homicide squad. And that's the first time I met Amy Fisher.
That evening, Amy Fisher was arrested for attempted murder and held overnight at the Nassau County Police Department. At first, she would deny it, but not for long. At the time of the shooting, Amy was a high school senior and planned on attending college the following year. She had dreams of one day becoming a fashion designer. The Long Island teenager had her own black Chrysler convertible, designer clothes, and wore a beeper to high school. But the apparently happy young woman had a childhood plagued with sadness and depression. In a book that Amy would later co-author about her life and her crime, she talked about a verbally abusive relationship with her father, that she was afraid of him, and that he frequently hit her. She claimed she was sexually molested as a child by a family member whom she wouldn't identify. She also said she was raped in her bedroom by a home repairman when she was 13. Amy's mother backed up her daughter's claims of rape and abuse, though none was ever reported to police. Amy's pain and loneliness would follow her into her high school years and eventually lead her to a dangerous obsession with a married man. It took a full night of questioning by Nassau County Police to get Amy Fisher to tell her story, and then sign a written confession. Investigators told the teenager that Mary Jo had identified her as the shooter from a photograph Amy had given to Joey.
It wasn't until I showed her the photograph that I saw her demeanor change. It was now one of some confusion. The fact that Joe may have given her up, the fact that Joe would have led the police to her. It was shortly after that that the first admissions about her participation came out.
Amy told investigators that when she confronted Mary Jo on the day of the shooting, she thought the woman was dismissing her allegations that her husband was having an affair. And she said that made her angry.
I was very upset, and she turned to walk away from me. And the gun was about this big, and it was in my pocket, and I was just holding it. And the first reaction I had was to hit her. I was so mad. And not realizing the gun was there, I hit her with it, and it went off. And I just remember we fell off the stairs. She was on top of me. And I just remember hearing a pop, seeing blood everywhere, and it was horrifying. And I just panicked and I ran away.
The man who had sold Amy the gun was waiting for her in his car across the street. After the two fled the scene, the man dumped the gun and the t-shirt down a sewer near the teenager's home. Amy also explained to detectives it was she who was having an affair with Mary Jo's husband. She told police she met Joe Buttafuocco at his body shop. From there, she said, the friendship had escalated to a sexual relationship.
When it first happened, she was 21 days from being 17. So that's how it worked out. Amen to that. Let's go. And welcome. Good to have you here.
And she told police Buttafuocco knew about her plans to shoot his wife.
For months, all he talked about was how much he hated his wife, and he wanted to get rid of her, and he wanted to kill her. And through the months, things evolved, and basically, in the beginning of May, I talked about killing Joey's wife with Joey. I brought up the topic, I can get a gun. In a matter of 5-6 days, it went from getting a gun to me being on that doorstep.
Amy said she had gone to the Buttafuocco home intending to kill
1992, Carolyn.
She insisted that when the gun discharged, it was an accident.
Ballistics tests that were done at the scene would lead more to an intent rather than to an accidental shooting.
She planned this. This was a cold-blooded murder. The only mistake that she made was I didn't die.
When Joe Buttafuoco was questioned by authorities, he vehemently denied any involvement in the shooting or any knowledge of Amy's murder plan. He would later also deny ever having any sexual relationship with the teenager.
I asked him point blank, did you have an affair with her? He said, absolutely not. And I would lay in the bed, I had a lot of long hours to recover, and I'd think, did he? Why would this girl do this? Why not? I mean, it would only make sense.
Absolutely, Carolyn.
They must have had something to do with each other. But then when the lies started coming out about me, when I heard her say that I yelled at her and I screamed at her and I cursed her out and we fought over the gun, and I realized she's a liar.
Welcome, Sudi, and I agree with you.
3 days after the shooting, Amy Fisher was arraigned on attempted murder charges. Bail was later set at $2 million, the highest in the history of Nassau County.
Absolutely, Bobby.
Her attorney was able to raise the bail money by selling Amy's story to a movie production company. More revelations were now coming out about the Long Island teenager. A syndicated television show broadcast an explicit videotape purporting to show Fisher getting into bed with a client from the escort service where she worked. Investigators would later confirm that Amy did indeed lead a secret life as a prostitute.
Before I met Joey, I was just fine. I was a typical high school girl. I had friends. I had everything.
Long Island police were learning more about Amy Fisher and her obsession with a married man. She would later detail for investigators a sexual relationship with Joey Buttafuoco.
Mikey, what's up, brother? Good to see you.
And moved into several Long Island
Welcome,
hotels.
B Slim.
The
Don't worry
prosecutors were
about
asking themselves if Fisher could be
Never
a credible witness against her alleged lover and co-conspirator. The answer when American Justice returns in a moment. Long Island police were uncovering more details about 17-year-old Amy Fisher and her motive in the near fatal shooting of Mary Jo Buttafuoco. Police concluded that Amy was so obsessed with her alleged lover, Mary Jo's husband, that she wanted to be with him at all costs.
Based on what she tells us, she was in love with Joe Buttafuoco, and it was because of that love that she went to that house that day to carry out that act, that she could eventually be with Joe and just her and Joe. She could have Joe if Mary Jo was out of the way.
But how did the Long Island teenager become obsessed with a man twice her age? Amy claimed it began when she met Joe Buttafuoco at his body shop in May 1991, 1 year before the shooting, when she was 16 years old. Amy saw the auto body repairman on several occasions, when she brought her car in for repairs. In the beginning, she said they were only friends, but their relationship quickly changed. About a month later, Amy said that Joe drove her home from the body shop on a day when her parents were at work. She said it was in her
Welcome,
bedroom where the
Amy.
two had
Good to
sex
have
for
you
the
here.
first time.
Interesting.
After their first
info.
sexual
Thank you.
encounter, Amy claimed she was in love. The Long Island teenager said that she and Buttafuoco began to go on dates, that he would take her to motels where they had sex, out on his boat, nicknamed Double Trouble, and to fancy restaurants.
She met somebody who had designs on her, somebody that was 20 years her senior, and I guess it was because of that vulnerability, that short period of time where a 16-year-old girl gets fancied by a man who drives fancy cars, who has wads of bills to flesh around, who could show you a good time, can buy you fancy presents, that her head was turned. And she got hooked. She got hooked.
Amy said that for the
Absolutely,
first time
Rhode
in her
Island.
life, she felt loved and cared for. She also said that her alleged lover had become the father figure she never had. She claimed she would have done anything to be with Joey and didn't want to live without him.
What Joey wanted, Joey's desires, I fulfilled them. Whatever he wanted, I did for him. I loved him so much.
And while Buttafuoco would later deny it, Amy claimed that he got her involved in prostitution. She said he convinced her she could make a lot of money for herself.
There are a lot of reasons, but one of the major factors was Joey wanted me to. His own sexual pleasures from it in his mind. He liked hearing about other men, and I thought it would be exciting.
Good golly, Miss Molly's in the house. What's up,
By
darling?
November
Thanks for joining us
1991,
tonight.
4 months after their sexual relationship allegedly began, Amy said she gave Joe an ultimatum. If he didn't leave his wife, she didn't want to see him anymore. She claimed she ended their affair, but because she was so distraught, she tried to kill herself. Amy's mother came home and found her daughter in the bathroom, her wrists slashed with a razor.
Can you give some kind of statement about what happened?
1 month later, Amy said she reconciled with Buttafuoco. But as winter turned to spring, Amy Fisher claimed her life was spinning out of control, and that her uncontrollable obsession was leading her to the doorstep of Mary Jo Buttafuoco's house on that fateful day in May. 4 months after she shot Mary Jo Buttafuoco in the head, Amy Fisher agreed to a plea bargain with prosecutors. She pled guilty to a reduced charge of reckless assault, avoiding the likelihood of a lengthy and lurid trial, and a longer prison sentence.
Amy Fisher, you now still withdraw your not guilty plea?
Yes.
Now, and the guilty plea of assault in the first degree AC felony?
Yes.
And how did you plead?
Guilty.
Fisher detailed for the judge what happened on the day of the shooting.
I went up to her doorstep with a loaded gun in my pocket.
Hey, Star.
I proceeded to talk to Mrs. Buttafuoco. She turned around to walk away. I hit her on the back of the head. I went to hit her again, and the gun went off.
Amy had earlier told police that the woman
As far
had
as anybody knows,
she dismissed her
Judy, I
allegations
believe.
about the affair. She now added that she was having a flashback to painful memories of childhood and had violently lashed out.
I think there's a lot of anger. I think there's a lot of jealousy. I think there's a lot of love, misplaced love on her part. A lot of different emotions that went into making this kid do what
Definitely
she
had
did.
daddy issues, that's for sure.
After Amy had pled guilty, the spotlight turned to her alleged lover. Did Joe Buttafuoco conspire with Fisher to kill his wife? And what was the extent of his relationship with the teenager? Investigators uncovered numerous motel receipts, allegedly signed by Joe Buttafuoco. Motels where Fisher insisted she and the 36-year-old had sex.
She said they would go to a specific motel. When I went to that motel to investigate, I found registration cards signed by Joe Buttafuoco in his name. And basically these cards corroborated the statements that Amy made about it, the different locations.
Amy also told police she had sex with Buttafuoco in an apartment above his body shop and on his 31-foot powerboat. Now police were investigating Joe Buttafuoco for 2 possible crimes: conspiracy to commit murder and statutory rape, which in New York is having sex with anyone under the age of 17. Amy's alleged affair with Joe began 6 weeks shy of her 17th birthday. Throughout the investigation, Mary Jo Buttafuoco stood by her husband.
1992
he
V-Slim.
ever had a sexual relationship with Amy Fisher.
This girl is an attempted murderer, a liar, a prostitute, and the DA is accepting her statement that she and Joe were together. Something's wrong here. Something's real wrong.
Then, just as investigators were building their case against Buttafuoco, Amy Fisher made a critical mistake that undermined her credibility. While she was out on bail pending her sentencing, a television program secretly taped Amy telling a boyfriend about how she deserved a Ferrari for all of her pain and suffering, showing no apparent remorse for her crime.
All the time, it was a joke. It was said with somebody that I cared deeply for, and it didn't mean anything.
But it meant something to prosecutors, who announced they would not file any charges against Joe Buttafuoco, either for conspiracy to commit murder or statutory rape. Based on Amy's erratic behavior while she was out on
Good to
bail,
see you,
including
Stevie.
2 more suicide attempts, they determined she would not be a credible witness.
No one can ever comprehend the pressure that is placed on an individual and his family when his family is being investigated. At this time, I just would like to thank the District Attorney's Office for their decision in this case.
We were never able to prove, nor do I believe it was true, that he purposely set her up to kill his wife. I think he may have inadvertently encouraged her by, the discussions they were having about him loving her and maybe not loving his wife. But I don't think that he had any intent of Amy going there and shooting his wife.
Joseph Buttafuoco was a man.
On December 1st, 1992, Amy Fisher
I
was
find
back
it hard
in
to
the Long
believe
Island
that,
courtroom
personally.
to be sentenced.
I ask that this court recommend that she serve at least 7.5 years.
First, Mary Jo Buttafuoco was given the opportunity to face the teenager who nearly took her life.
The bullet is still lodged in the base of my brain and causes me constant pain and suffering. And if there is any unnatural movement of the bullet, I am faced with paralysis and perhaps even death. My 2 beautiful children are having a difficult time leaving me alone. They are afraid I might not be there when they get home from school. All this damage by someone who still shows absolutely no remorse for her actions.
Amy Fisher also addressed the court before her sentence was handed down.
Your Honor, the truth is, I did something that was so awful and I wish I could take it back. It's also the truth. I had an affair with a married man. And it's also the truth that Joey knew of my intentions towards his wife and he encouraged me. These things, Your Honor, they are all true. They are facts. And I cannot and will not take them back for the sake of harmony.
Motivated by lust and passion, you are a walking stick of dynamite with the fuse lit. For some people, you have become a media celebrity with a book, TV series, future movies, and countless reams of newspaper and magazine articles. But to this court, you are no celebrity. In the eyes of this court, you are a tragedy and disgrace to yourself, to your family, to your friends, and to society. You deserve no less than a maximum sentence.
The Long Island teenager who made newspaper headlines worldwide was sentenced to 5 to 15 years in prison.
Amy Fisher.
Here's another little tidbit of info, folks, that it came out later down the road that little Miss Amy was supposedly having an affair with the attorney she had as well. Surprise. You know, I feel bad for the fact that she had parents that didn't seem to care about her enough to keep her close to them, to love her the way she should have been loved, and to give her the attention she deserved as a child, to not end up in this position in her life at this point, okay? And it does make a difference. When my daughters were 17, no, I knew exactly where they were every minute of the day, what they were doing, who they were with, all of that, okay? So and if the parents try to say, hey, you know, we did this, we did that, we did the best we can, I'm not, bullshit. I'm not going to take that. Forget about it. It's not going to work for me. Sorry. You didn't. Because if you did, your daughter wouldn't be in this position. And I know that that's a fact. Okay. So it is what it is. And then on the other hand of things, the rest of it, she made her decisions, folks. She knows right from wrong. I don't feel bad for her in that sense. And I definitely don't feel bad for this guy because he knew exactly what he was doing when he did it and thought he wasn't going to get caught. You know, he just, like somebody said earlier, he wanted his cake and he wanted to eat it too. It doesn't work that way, guys. So that's how I feel in that sense.
Fisher is a liar.
Outside the courtroom, Joe Buttafuocco repeated his denials of ever having a sexual relationship with Amy Fisher.
I know she's a liar. She knows she's a liar. And now the public knows that she's a liar. The DA didn't even believe her. She's not credible.
Crystal, I agree 100%. And he does, but not for long enough, in my opinion, CL. You'll find that out here soon. Right. My son is 18 now. He hates it, but I know where he is. 100%. That's what we have to do with our kids, especially in this day and age. My son's 17. He's a big kid. You know, he could handle his own. He still don't know. You don't give them that much rope to hang themselves with. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, you don't do that. You keep them under your wing and you keep showing them the rights and wrongs of life so that they don't make those mistakes, guys. You know, that's just my opinion. Again, some people aren't like that, but that's how I feel. So, Tattoo in Wonderland, good to see you. Well, blast from the past. I grew up blocks away from them and went to school with their kids. Awesome. Awesome, Tattoo. Thanks for that info. I agree, D. Smith. He did the whole time. And he knew it. You know, she may not have been the greatest of all people, guys, but this is a grown man that had kids that were close to this age at some point. So come on now, man. Dude, like I said, forget about it. This guy's, I just don't like him. I never did. I don't care what he says. He's a piece of garbage. So I gotcha, Molly. Gotcha.
What are you going to say to her? What are you going to say to her?
Words cannot express what I have to say to her.
But while prosecutors stated publicly that the case against Joe Buttafuocco was closed, they still suspected the auto body repairman really did have an illegal sexual relationship with a teenager. But they needed solid proof.
Well, we let the case die down a little bit.
Amen,
And ultimately it worked
Sherry,
out because
amen.
Buttafuocco wound up putting his foot in his mouth, going on television and making false statements. The people he had working for him, who he was bragging about, the relationship he was
That's a
having with Amy,
great question, Afton.
they were so
He probably
incensed
did,
that he
knowing
was going on
who, the
TV and
kind of person
denying
he
this
is.
and making himself out to be such a good family man that, they finally came forward. We weren't able to really get a strong case relying on Amy Fisher. We needed more evidence, and he provided that evidence against himself.
Prosecutors would reopen their investigation of Joey Buttafuocco, claiming they had enough evidence to indict him on charges of statutory rape. The defense would counter that the DA's office was grandstanding for the media, and that this particular teenage prostitute could hardly be viewed as an underage rape victim. That's next. Justice, here on A&E. In April 1993, Buttafuocco was indicted on statutory rape charges for having sex with Amy Fisher several times before her 17th birthday, the legal age of consent.
How do you plead to this effect? Not guilty.
Amy Fisher, who was already serving her prison term, had insisted to police she was having an affair with Buttafuocco.
We uncovered a lot about their relationship. It was amazing. It's just amazing. Here's a young girl.
I was going to speak on that, Noni. This was in 1992, guys. We're in 2023, okay? It has changed. Like, this was a consensual situation, but he did manipulate her into, in my opinion, he manipulated her into the situation, I feel. And he knew better. He knew what he was doing was wrong. He just thought he was going to get away with it. But nowadays, this is so different now, guys. It is so different. It happens when people, when these kids aren't wanting it to happen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think it was after this whole thing. I remember hearing the school. Yeah. Absolutely, Tattoo. Well, dipshit here got his own talk show and tried to become get out into showbiz, this and that and everything else. And thankfully, Mary Jo finally divorced his ass, and who knows? But and then I'll show you guys this other clip of Amy Fisher's husband and him getting into a altercation. It's kind of funny, actually. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us. All right, guys, let's get this back to going.
Who's living at home with her parents, and a guy who's living at home with his wife and 2 kids, and how much time they were able to spend together without either family knowing about it. It was just incredible. Her friends saw them together. His friends saw them together.
Prosecutors claimed they had damaging evidence against Buttafuocco, including signed motel receipts and incriminating statements from employees at his body shop.
At the time, when they were really going after my husband, you get to a point where you give up. And they were going after him not for conspiracy to murder, not for anything really, really bad. They were going after whether or not he had sex with her while she was still 16. And we said, what are we fighting for? Everybody had sex with Amy Fisher. She was a working hooker.
You come out first.
So Joe Buttafuocco agreed to a plea bargain with prosecutors, pleading guilty to 1 count of statutory rape.
Joseph Buttafuocco, do you now wish to withdraw your not guilty plea and now plead guilty to rape in the 3rd degree? That's a Class E felony. How do you plead to that charge? Guilty or not guilty? Guilty.
The 37-year-old auto body repairman stood before a judge and the world and admitted what he'd been denying for more than a year.
On July 2nd, 1991, I had sexual relations with Amy Fisher at the Freeport Hotel.
Despite Buttafuocco's admission of guilt, his wife stood by him.
He wasn't her lover. It was never a love affair.
I don't think that the relationship was a loving relationship at all. He admitted publicly when he took the plea that he had sex with her. I think if he did in fact have sex with her, it was strictly a sexual relationship without any love on his part.
1 month later, Buttafuocco returned to the Nassau County Courthouse in a Rolls-Royce limo for his sentencing.
Joey did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong.
Dressed in a navy suit and his signature snakeskin cowboy boots, he pushed his way through a crowd of spectators, reporters, and newscasters.
His looks created a situation where people thought he was arrogant. The snakeskin boots, people resented. They resented the fact that a married man could possibly be having relations with a 17-year-old girl. He became the man you love to hate. He's really not a hateful person.
4604, People versus Joseph Buttafuocco for sentence. Step up, please.
19-year-old Amy Fisher was transported from her New York prison cells for the sentencing and was brought face to face with her alleged former lover. Sitting only a few feet away, the Long Island teenager was given the opportunity to confront Buttafuocco before.
Well, truthfully, Afton, that does change down the road here, as you'll see. Good to see you, Van Life. Thanks for jumping in. No need to apologize. Great to have you here. Right, Carolyn. Exactly. And if you talk to them about what you have been through to make them understand, they end up using it against you. That is factual too, Miss Molly. All right.
Or he was sentenced.
Once we lived began, I was not just a 16-year-old teenager taken to bed by a man loving twice my age. I was a 16-year-old teenager shown a world I was not ready for, a world of elaborate spending and fast foods. This man took me to expensive restaurants and cheap motels. I am sad to say that he taught me well. He taught me to disrespect myself and to deceive my parents. I know from my heart that if Mr. Buttafuocco had permitted me to cross the bridge between adolescence and adulthood unmolested, I would not be where I am today.
Yeah, I think there was more to it than that,
Fisher
Mikey.
took a gun and on the steps of the house where the Buttafuocco family lives, pointed a gun and shot his wife in the head. Is she this sweet, innocent little person that big, bad Mr. Buttafuocco took advantage of?
That's not the issue. Buttafuocco's lawyer pleaded with the judge not to send his client to jail.
He says to you through me, I am sorry, I made a mistake. How is he to know if he made a mistake in his life that a woman who clearly has problems, which were not obvious, would someday shoot his wife?
That attorney's a jackass. How does he know that he made a mistake? If she was 16 going on 17, there's your first guess, okay? And I promise you, I don't know for fact because we don't have that. We weren't there. We didn't hear it. But I can almost promise you that this man coached her and knew what she was going to do. I just have to say that because I feel strong about that, guys. I really do. There's no way he didn't know. She talked about it repeatedly with him. I don't see any reason why she would lie about it at this point. So, and I can almost agree with the fact that I think maybe he did want her to do it so that he could move along. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. Keeps calling her a woman. Call her what she is. A girl. Absolutely, Afton. She was a little girl. She was a child. And that's how he should have saw her as well. And the fact that he didn't makes him a sick piece of shit. Sorry. Yeah, D. Smith, I can agree with that. You know, she was a tough woman. There's rumors that have floated around over the years that Joey was kind of abusive towards Mary Jo as well. You know. So there's that too. I don't know how true that is. Carolyn says girls are often naive. Well, especially when you come from a family that shows you no love. She didn't get the attention she should have got. She obviously had daddy issues, as it was talked about. You know, she was forced to grow up like that. You know, she wasn't allowed to be a child. Okay? She's out trying to make money to survive on doing something that she should have never even thought of. Again, it goes back to the parenting, in my opinion. So it's disgusting on a lot of aspects, and it really, really kind of sickens me. So moving along.
But the judge was unmoved.
And
He handed down the maximum penalty allowed under the plea agreement. 6 months in the county jail.
He received a sentence of 6 months for having sex with a girl under the age of consent by 21 days. Are you going to tell me that there's a difference between that girl from the July 2nd or 21 days later when she was able to give consent? That this man should have received a sentence for 6 months?
I can believe that tattoo. In handcuffs to begin serving his sentence immediately.
It had a
Right, 6 months. That's all they got. He didn't even do 6 months, folks. He did 4 or 4.5. That's all he did. That in itself, once again, shows the judicial system, in my opinion. It's disgusting. Unreal.
such a devastating impact on 2 complete families. You know, not only the defendant, Amy Fisher, and the victim, Mrs. Buttafuocco, but, you know, her husband then became a defendant and now a convicted felon. Amy Fisher's parents, they split up. I'm sure their lives will never be the same. It's just such a tragedy for all the people that were involved. It's so senseless and so unnecessary.
It was hell. It was hell on earth. Joey and I look back and we wonder how we ever survived it. Day after day, week after week, month after month. And really the only thing that happened was that I opened my front door one beautiful morning in May.
Even in prison, controversy would follow Amy Fisher. In July 1996, she filed a lawsuit against the New York Department of Corrections and numerous prison officials.
Yeah, listen to this stuff, guys. Listen to this. This is insane. I mean, I don't doubt it, but it's insane. Listen.
Claiming she had been raped by 5 prison guards and sexually harassed and assaulted by several others. We'll be back in a moment with the conclusion of the Amy Fisher story here on A&E.
I think it was grossly overblown by the media. It took on a life of its own. There were days when this case was on in court where you literally couldn't get near the court complex. The media became the story. It was no longer the criminal case, but the coverage itself became an event. I never saw anything like it.
The Amy Fisher case spawned 3 made-for-TV movies, at least 2 books, and was an endless source of jokes for late-night television.
These people who think they're funny don't realize that a woman by the name of Buttafuocco was almost murdered. They forget that. And they forget that the person they're making fun of is my husband, the man that I love.
At age 18, Amy Fisher began serving her sentence at the Albion Correctional Facility in upstate New York. Nearly 1 month after she was sent there, she talked about her life behind bars.
It's hard, emotionally, physically. It's draining. But I did something wrong and I have to pay for it.
The Long Island teenager insisted she was remorseful, despite portrayals of her as cold-hearted.
I'm remorseful. I just don't feel that I have to walk around 24 hours a day crying and saying how sorry I am.
Not
True
sure,
remorse
Dee.
is what I feel in my heart inside. I know for myself I'm going to be a better person when I get out of jail.
Prison life was anything but peaceful for Amy Fisher. She received numerous citations for disciplinary problems and was placed in solitary confinement for writing love letters to a prison guard. In July 1996, Amy filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the New York State Department of Correctional Services and numerous prison officials, claiming she had been repeatedly raped by several prison guards and abused and harassed by other corrections officers. At a federal hearing in Buffalo, New York, Amy Fisher offered proof that she'd been raped. Her attorney said that Amy's mother had smuggled her daughter's underwear.
Thanks for joining us, Afton.
And that it had tested
See you again
positive
soon,
for semen
hopefully.
at a DNA laboratory. Amy's attorney claimed that his client was in danger if she was not transferred immediately to another prison. Prison officials dismissed Amy's charges of rape and abuse and said that the inmate was not credible. They claimed she was just trying to get moved to a prison closer to her Long Island home. It appeared that prison life had taken its toll on Amy Fisher. At her sentencing in December 1992, the teenager had seemed timid and frightened. After 4 years in prison, the pale and thin 22-year-old appeared hardened and bitter.
Amy, are you any more or less confident after today's hearing about your chances of being transferred?
I don't care about me.
Amy's parents had divorced soon after she went to prison, and her mother remained the only source of love and support in her life. In an interview in July 1996, Amy said that she didn't have many friends in prison, and that her mother was one of the few people who ever came to visit her. In December 1998, Fischer, seeking to have her original guilty plea withdrawn, filed charges against her attorney, Eric Nyberg. She claimed Nyberg had lied to her during the 1992 trial, and that the two of them were involved in a sexual relationship at the time. Nyberg has denied the charges. In April 1999, Judge Ira Wexner granted Fischer's petition. While nothing has come of the allegations of sexual misconduct, the judge vacated Fischer's original plea on grounds of ineffective counsel. In return, Fischer pleaded guilty to the same charge. Mary Jo Buttafuocco again testified prior to the sentencing, but this time Mrs. Buttafuocco testified on Fischer's behalf. The two women had begun corresponding several months earlier. Now Mrs. Buttafuocco told the court that she had forgiven Fischer and that she believed the young woman should be given a second chance. Judge Wexner handed down a reduced sentence of 3.5 to 10.5 years, which immediately qualified Fischer for parole. She was granted her freedom on May 6, 1999. 4 days later, after nearly 7 years behind bars, Amy Fischer, now 24 years old, walked out of the Albion Correctional Facility in upstate New York. The event was widely covered by the press and was an indication that the passage of time had not diminished the notoriety of the case, a notoriety that seems destined to follow Fischer wherever she goes. The notoriety extends to all the players in the drama.
Hey, come on!
Back in 1994, when Joey Buttafuocco was released after serving 4 months of a 6-month jail sentence for statutory rape, he sounded repentant.
What can I say? I did what I had to do to end it. I did my time, and I'm going home to my family.
Joey has parlayed his fame into an entertainment career. He and his wife now live in Los Angeles, where he hosts a cable talk show.
For all the late-night humor about the Amy Fisher story, the prosecution of Joey Buttafuocco for statutory rape does raise a serious question about the way a media circus can drive the legal process. It is reasonable to ask whether the rape charge would have received serious attention from any prosecutor were it not for the extraordinary media focus on the case of Amy Fisher. Fisher was, after all, just days shy of the legal age of consent, and by her own admission was very much consenting in the sex act, for which Buttafuocco went on to spend 4 months in prison. But beyond the courtroom drama, there is still the question of why this strange saga so captivated the public. One explanation is that in this turbulent era in which people seek reassurances that their own lives are safe and under control, it is deeply reassuring to know that nothing quite like this story has ever happened to us.
And there it is, everybody. Like I said, I have zero respect for that piece of garbage. I feel like the fact that Mary Jo forgave her, I think that justice was served in that sense. The fact that Mary Jo didn't die, you know, in a sense, I feel like Amy paid her price, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because again, I feel like she was manipulated into the situation in some senses. Okay, now there's a little bit more for you guys too. It's kind of crazy. Let me show it to you here. We got to see. No, that ain't it. Oh yeah, we'll give you a couple of these. You guys, I'm sure, saw all these back in the day. A couple of little things here. And they both got paid for this, believe this or not, I found out. Quite interesting. Anything that came out of this, Buttafuocco, both the Buttafuoccos and Fisher got paid for it, guys. This was a show back in the 90s. I used to love it, actually. In living color. Interesting. Exactly, Bobby. Exactly.
I'm Amy Fisher. You know the Long Island LOLITA? And this is Joey Buttafuocco over here.
Hey! Joey Buttafuocco over here!
Hey, girls, are you good with a handgun? Do you like to have sex in a car?
Are you as dumb as dip? But you still want to make a lot of money? Then take Amy's special bang for your buck seminar. Tell him, princess.
3 simple steps. 1, you get yourself a really sexy guy.
Hey, Joey, but we'll go over here.
But to land yourself a really sexy guy, first you gotta get yourself a whole lot of hair. Anything less than 2 feet ain't really sexy. Right, Joey?
Joey, but we'll go over here.
Step 2, you get yourself a gun and you find this guy.
I did, Brian. We'll be covering it tomorrow with the rest of the stuff for sure.
Step 3, you sell off your movie rights, your paperback rights.
Then you look for the new sitcom on Fox. The motherfucker's over here.
Hey, sure, I'm gonna spend a couple of years in the slammer, but I'm already eligible for parole in 95 over here. And all this money spread out for 3 years in the clink, that works out to per year.
Oh, she's working it out.
I can put something, well, a whole lot of money. So take my seminar.
Yeah, right. I took Amy's seminar and nobody bought my rights. All I did was go straight to jail.
Oops, I almost forgot the most important step. Step number 4, make sure that you're white.
Yeah, because Hollywood only buys stories about white people killing each other over here.
Hey, Doc, now give me a kiss here, Joey.
Yo, come here.
Hey, Joey, what are you kissing that whore for?
Hey, Mary Jo, I wasn't kissing her. I was giving a CPR over here. Give me a break.
That's my Joey, always trying to help people over here.
All right, everybody break it up. Visiting day is over here.
Dial 555 Lolita. I'll get you more bang for your buck.
Bada bing, bada bang. It's just that simple.
For me.
Over here.
Over here.
And there were a lot of shows that pulled that. SNL, Living Color, Mad TV. They did it. It's kind of ignorant, in my opinion. Just giving you a quick look at it. And times were different back then, too. Mikey, it was talked about that he was selling different things out of the shop down there. It was also talked about that he was running a chop shop, too. This was back in the early 2000s, but there was never any proof of anything. So what are you supposed to do? You know, they can't prove it if they don't have any proof of it. So I truly feel that there was something else going on that made him more money, because he made good money, guys. You saw that house, you know, you saw his boat, his cars. He had 2 Cadillacs, he had a truck. It wasn't all working in that body shop, you guys. I'll be honest with you. It definitely was not. Here, let me show you this here too that was fairly recent. This it was kind of funny to me too. And you'll see he still hasn't changed. Have a great night, Miss Bonnie. All right.
The challenging choice.
I got 2 variations of this. It came up. Joey Buttafuocco gets into a fist fight with Amy Fisher's husband. And I'm thinking, like, nah. That's not out there, right? It is. It shows, guys. It shows. And this guy's older than her, like way older than her too. Well, at least he looks like he is. Right. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, when are you people going to grow up, you know? Why would you even be anywhere around this situation? But here it comes. I got 2 variations of it. Bonnie, thank you so much for being with us tonight, hon. I hope you have a great night and hope to see you tomorrow. Here we go.
Of the winner. So yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're gonna fight a man. Don't even do women anymore, all right? Did that already. Got a lot of trouble. Don't do that anymore.
And you see his new wife, right? Now, I'll give you guys another angle of this. Hold on. I couldn't believe this. I had to laugh, you know. And I almost wonder if this was set up like this on purpose. It kind of looked like it was. Basically, from what I had understood was that Amy Fisher's husband started this with him. They're trying to say it looks to me like it might have been set up. He was wannabe monster for Gambino family. Yeah, I heard about that too, Rumsey. She is Star, 100%. It shows what he's attracted to, you know, and she was probably attracted to the fact that he was kind of famous. Not for a good reason, but it is what it is. All right, here we go. This is the other side of it. You guys get a different angle of it. Rock'em sock'em robots. Absolutely. It does look staged to me too, Bobby.
Guys, did that already. Got a lot of trouble. Don't do that anymore.
Now, you need to watch this through to the end and listen to what Joey has to say after this. Absolutely, V-Slims. They have the best mods on YouTube, in my opinion.
All right, Coolio's in the house. Let's see. Everyone's all right. Coolio in the house. All right, where's Jeremy? Jeremy Jackson, please. Coolio, what's going on? I apologize for that. I really do. I really do. I'm sorry. But something, there's a lot of stress right now. All right. Come on. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
No steroids. What happened? You went a little crazy on steroids.
What happens when you're on steroids? You can't control yourself. But the guy hit you, Joey? Yeah. Did you hit him back? Yeah. Joey didn't go down, though. Wow. I'm not going down. Doesn't that give you incentive for the fight now? You have no idea. Yeah. You gonna kick some ass? Big time, huh? Hey, you got a reason to kick his ass, too. I had a good reason. I had a reason for 19 years to kick his ass. Let's set that off, man. You know, listen, once an asshole, always an asshole. I didn't start that. Now we want to see you finish it. Is that a Black Widow tattoo? It is. You gonna give him the Black Widow? I'm gonna really hit him as hard as I can, take him out the first minute. Wow, man.
Now, this is funny to me, okay? He's talking all this smack right here now, knowing that dude would beat his shit out of, he would get the beat shit out of him, period. There's no way that this old man is going to stand up against that dude. Steroids or not. The dude, no way in hell. He's just talking. Typical Italian guy, I'll be honest with you, because, you know, I've done it too. But I would usually back up what I was saying. I'd never back down from anybody. So this guy here is going to get his head hammered by that other guy. You know what I'm saying? He ran out of money is why he took the shot. Actually, I have jokes. I did not follow the story after current affair went on the air, off the air. Yeah, I get it. Yes, Heather, the beat shit out of him. It's something I've always said. Old King Ding-a-ling mentality. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, that dude would give him, like I said, he would get the beat shit out of him, period. There's no way that he thinks, and he's just talking, yeah, I got a Black Widow. You see it? I'm going to give it to him, all that. Yeah. You just have no idea. Shut up, dude. And I would probably praise the other guy for hammering him like that. Just because I don't like his attitude, his mentality. I don't like any of that. You know what I mean? He beat some shit. Right, Carolyn, right. Anyway.
That's exactly what I'm going to not play the Sorry about that. I apologize. I didn't bring that on here, but I'm certainly going to finish it.
Wow, man.
Plaintiff Joey Buttafuocco is suing his customer, Helena Peaches Lagunas, for the cost of car repairs. Joey says he worked on the defendant's Corvette and she offered to pay for it with sex, but he'd rather have the cash. However, Peaches, a self-proclaimed porn star and escort, admits to offering to pay for the repairs with sex and says she cannot understand why the plaintiff won't accept.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Janine Pirro presiding. You may be seated.
Joseph Buttafuocco is suing Helena Lagunas, a customer for unpaid car repairs. Well, well, well.
Welcome back.
No, you welcome back. You're lucky I wasn't the DA when you were doing your dance. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Have you been good?
I've been very good.
Staying out of trouble?
I'm up till today, yes.
Yeah, well, you're not in trouble yet. What'd you do? What do you want to confess to?
It's nothing. I say nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
All right, Joey. When was this with Amy Fisher? What year was
A
that?
long time ago.
Give me the year. Give me the year.
1992, May 19th.
All right, 1992. I was
Very
a judge.
tragic day, Your
I was
Honor.
a judge at the time, and I was not yet the district attorney. And I remember this Amy Fisher going in, shooting Mary Jo.
My wife at the time.
Yeah,
yes.
your wife at the
Tragic.
time. Very tragic. Very tragic. You ended up, I think, going to prison yourself.
I did.
For
No,
statutory
I went
rape.
to county jail. I was in Nassau County Jail.
Yeah, so it was a county time.
I had to plea out to something,
Right.
and that they just wanted to dirty my life, so that's what they did.
Joey. No. You started a string of events that caused enormous damage along the way to a lot of people. You paid your price. I'm not saying you didn't.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, you paid your price. But you're lucky the sexual predator law wasn't in effect.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, because you'd be a sexual predator.
Your Honor, and if I was guilty of anything from back then, I'd still be in jail today. It was 129 days just to get me out of the public eye.
So law enforcement did you a favor, threw you in jail?
129 days. That's what they told me.
All right, why are you suing Helena Lagunas?
Your Honor, I manage a auto restoration business in L.A. And I have been appointed.
So you moved to L.A.
At my ranch, had my horses.
You have horses?
Started a whole new life, yes.
Good for you. Are you married?
I am married right now. My current wife, Ivanka, and she's wonderful.
Tell her not to open the door if a strange woman shows
She
up with a
knows.
gun.
Oh, it's no strange. Sorry. There's no strange women coming to the door. Believe me, we're gated and it's a good thing. So,
Yeah,
unfortunate tragic events that happened back then.
I know.
We're here today. It's a whole new deal.
Good for you.
See, this kind of stuff makes me sick. And that's why I'm showing you guys these different variations of things that have come out. They've turned it into a joke. His wife nearly lost her life. Okay. Thank God she didn't, by the grace of God. He's put out there almost as a celebrity now, and I don't like that at all. You know, I mean, I'm just saying, guys, this is all in good humor, I'm sure. It's fake for sure. They're getting paid for it, you know, it's what it is. But in the background, the jokes about what happened to his wife, it just it's cringe. I'm sorry, but it's 100% cringe. Mr. Brian, you have a great night, my brother. Have a great night, and we will see you soon, sir.
All right, so you're suing her.
Putting that aside, I manage a high-end restoration business for automobiles, and I have been appointed by the company to handle this issue in Your Honor's court. On November 11th of last year, Peaches
Who's
brought her...
Peaches?
Me.
You're not Helena?
Helena? Called Peaches/felony.
Peaches/felony. Pray tell, Peaches-felony, what line of work might you be in?
I am an XXX star/escort.
How do you get involved with these women,
Well, you
Joey?
see, Your Honor, when I got... I know, but this, I can explain this one. Your Honor, and she's a lovely woman, she really is, but when I first got the phone call, she was recommended to our facility. but I thought she said she had a Ford Escort. And then when she came in, honest to God, and when she came in, Your Honor, it was a beautiful Corvette. Green tan interior, it was beautiful.
She was the escort.
I didn't know that. I said, well, where's your car? And she pointed to the green Corvette. And I was like, oh my, okay. And then I found out, okay, where I'm at with this whole thing. Because
all right, so what's wrong with the Corvette?
okay, it was side swipe down the driver's side from the left front fender of the door and the left rear quarter. So it was the complete left side. And I wrote an estimate on it for about $4,700. And she agreed to that. And Peaches signed an authorization to leave the car for the repairs, signed the repair order, the estimate, and I have a copy of her driver's license. And I have that here, Your Honor, if you could just, if you want to take a look at that.
What happened to
Also-
your car, Peaches?
What happened was, obviously, you know, I'm a XXX star.
I don't know if
and
it's obvious, but if you say so.
But the reason why I do my, you know, do my job and everything is because, you know, I have 3 kids, I adopted 2, and so I need to make some money to take care of the family. And
why don't you get a real job?
Because no 9 to 5 at $10 an hour is going to feed 5 kids. And so, considering my profession and everything, I always have to be out my tip top, you know, best looking and everything. So I go to the mall, I go shopping, and when I'm at the mall, I go to the parking lot. You know, you have to park in front of a whole bunch of cars and everything. And I come back out with a whole bunch of bags, and I see my car completely smashed. And it's not just a little itty bitty scratch; it's a huge, huge damage to my baby. When I say to my baby, I mean my car is my baby. There was this incident where a guy flicked ashes in my car. I was on the freeway. I pressed on the brakes. I threw my car into the emergency thing. I told him to clean up my car, or he ain't gonna ride where he needs to go.
That's some way to treat your baby.
Oh, I don't let no one eat in my car, no one drink in my car. My car's my baby, my baby. And so when I took it to Joey, you know, he said that he could fix the car. He can make it.
Yeah, he's at a body shop. How did you get referred to this body shop?
Because a lot of the people in the business, because I work at World Modeling, and they said that they would refer
Not
me to
at all
And,
correct, Natalie. It's disgusting to me.
Did you know how anal you were? Did you know who he was when you took your car to him?
No, I didn't. They know how anal I am about my car, and they go, "Let me give you to a real honest guy." You know,
Thank you.
You know, screw you over. And
Literally, because that's what this is about, Your Honor.
And he'll give you a good price. He's warm. He's, you know, I feel that he's an honest guy. And
And you
I
signed
checked
the
it.
estimate.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, and it's for $46,96.84.
Correct.
So you see this gorgeous Corvette, and you say it's going to cost you $4,600. What happens next?
With a very beautiful woman, and she was. There's no question about that. So when the vehicle came in, I also want to let the court know that, you know, we have a very high-end clientele. Meaning, you know, everybody from Ozzy and Sharon, the kids, the high-end celebrity, Jay Leno, all that, Pauly Shore, people like that in the industry, in the entertainment industry, we do a tremendous amount of restorations for and work, as well as the adult entertainment industry. So, well, we do, you know, it's just part of it, you know.
Yeah.
And I just want that.
No worries,
We're
Slims.
a high-end shop. So when the vehicle came in, as we were
Thank you, Ms. Heather.
all the necessary forms, left the vehicle, we repaired the vehicle, and in the correct time frame that I told Peaches when it would be done, it was within 2 weeks. Everything was fine. And then when she came to pick up the car, it was still okay. And then she went to pay with a credit card. But Your Honor, we don't take credit cards. It's cash or check or certified funds. So with that, she didn't have money on her. I didn't want to keep the car. So I called her boss over at the modeling agency. He kind of vouched for her, said she makes plenty of money. She'll be coming in with the cash as soon as she gets it together. On that, Your Honor, I released it in good faith. And sure enough, in 3 or 4 days, she came back. And I was like, well, this is cool. We're going to get paid. And then the whole deal kind of changed a little bit. It changed, and I don't mean any disrespect, Your Honor, or to your courtroom rather, but being told instead of getting paid, why don't you get laid? Now, Your Honor, I'm no stranger to a courtroom and to all that stuff. And I'm 53, and though she's very beautiful, I am married, and I'm happily married, I might say.
Good for you.
Thank you. But even all the Viagra in the world would kill me. I mean, she's a Jaguar. I'm a Lincoln. It's like, it's different now.
Joey, you haven't changed. You say you've changed. I'm not sure that you have.
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
By the way, do you know what Amy's doing now?
I believe she just had a 3rd child. She's married to a great guy in New York, and
Life is good.
the life is
You
better
haven't
for
read the
her.
New
and
York
if it was-
Post in the last 2 days.
What?
Amy Fisher is back doing porn, but with women only. The Long Island Lolita, who served 7 years in prison for shooting Mary Jo Buttafuocco, is out with a new pay-per-view special featuring explicit girl-on-girl scenes. She tells Fleshbot.com she'd like to do a video with men, but it's my husband that seems to have a problem with it. Just a follow-up. You didn't know this?
I did not know
You
that.
got to read the
Your Honor.
Post.
I did not know that. But you know something, and even with that, I've learned so much I've learned so much over the years, Your Honor. You know, with Peaches, how come a flag doesn't go up in my head? I don't know why things don't happen. Flash, say, maybe this is a problem. You know, but let Essie handle it, you know?
Oh, no, who are
but
you?
I didn't.
I'm a co-worker, actually. We work together. You are.
Yeah, what do you want? What is your name, sir?
My name is Essie.
Okay. All right, so what are you here to say?
according to the Joe, like he said, we have a very bad experience with the credit cards when she came to pay with the credit cards, because down the line, like 4 or 5 months later, the people go and dispute it, and then we have to just run around.
You know what?
to
There's
get
no
our cards.
problem asking for cash or a certified check as long as you report
That's
it.
why it's so.
Joey, as long as you report it.
Everything.
Okay.
I've always paid my taxes, Your Honor.
Good. All right. So you're just here to explain why you take cash.
No, also I was witnessing the whole case.
Did you hear Peaches come back and hit
Just-
their offer? What
No,
did you
we went-
say?
I said, just, we are here. I mean, I don't
She didn't
think
offer
that
you,
we
she
should.
offered him?
No. We don't want to actually mix the pleasure with business. They are two different. They are two different.
Thank you very much.
You're
You're
Why I
input.
love him.
Yeah.
So
he keeps
much.
you out of trouble, right, Joey?
He does, Your
Okay.
Honor.
All right, Peaches, did you say that?
Well, actually, my words were, when I dropped off the cart, obviously I do have the money, but I don't carry anything but my card, plastic. He did call my agency, World Modeling, and confirm that I do make the amount of money and everything, and he did give me the car. Well, he gave me a couple of days to think about what the situation was, and I thought, this is a great way to do the barter system. And so when we came back, I said, I don't want to pay in cash, I want to pay in, and I don't understand why you won't take cash. I really don't understand.
I told you. I did.
And so, he says, no, we don't take for cash.
Good for you.
That's enough. As far as that goes, I can't. It makes me sick, you guys. So there it is. Which that comment there tells me that whole thing was set up with Fisher's husband. That kind of answered it the way he answered that. So, and there really isn't much more from them at this point, guys. You know what I mean? Sadly, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe they're all living good lives. Thank you so very much, CL. I appreciate that more than you know. Awesome first super sticker tonight. I think it is, Eve. I truly think it's a scripted show, just like People's Court and stuff like that. Karen Lee, Lena repeatedly said what she and her dad would have done. Jump in her car to Moscow. Is he bad? If he didn't, I might have seen screaming, crying. Wait, whoa. Hold on 1 second. See, let me get this set up for you, and then 1 second, Karen. All right, again, thank you so very much, CL. I appreciate you. Now, Miss Karen Lee, Lana repeatedly said what she and her dad would have done, jump in her car to Moscow. Is he bad if he didn't? I might have been screaming, crying, throwing up. Ergo, Steve should have too. I mean, we're probably going to talk about that tomorrow too, but at this point, I don't think it makes him a bad guy if he didn't drive to Moscow, Karen. Okay, considering when we were talking last night on the Drunk Turkey show, when Daniel had said what he said about it, considering we don't know exactly what was going on at that moment. First of all, Daniel believes, and I can understand too, if they were watching football, they had company there visiting, this and that, everything else, they may have been drinking. That's one. That's a good drive from where they live to Moscow. They may have been drinking. Two, you're in a very, very emotional state at that time. Hearing that your child has been unalived, that's two. Three, we don't know exactly what went on timing yet wise, okay? I'm not, if he didn't go, I'm not saying that makes Steve a bad guy. If he did go, I'm not saying that makes Steve a bad guy. I personally, I'd have been in the car before I'd have been off the phone. Okay. That's just me. Not everybody is that way. You couldn't have stopped me. And see, I kind of have a feeling that Steve is that type of person that if he wanted to do something, that you're not going to stop him from doing it, guys. Just saying. But you shouldn't be driving. That's exactly what I was going to say, Carolyn. In that kind of a situation, you shouldn't be driving. It's very dangerous, guys. Okay. Maybe having somebody drive you there, sure. Okay, but there may not have been somebody that was emotionally strong enough at that point. If it was all family, you know, Christy, the son, him. I mean, so I don't think anybody should judge him on that. I personally don't. I don't feel that at all. If he didn't do it, even if he did, I don't think he should be judged in that situation at all, because we all know that we can't ever say exactly how we would act in that situation because we haven't been in that situation. That's a different scenario all the way around. And again, as I said before, I have a huge amount of respect for Stephen Goncalves for being the person he's been through this whole thing. He's stronger, in my opinion, than a lot of people ever could have been in that type of a situation. It's horrifying, guys. So again, it was just that 125 Rumsey that I saw, unless there's another one that I didn't see. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Yeah, it was just that one time. See, anyway, and it's very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. Right, and that's another thing too, Carolyn. The roads were bad. This and that. I mean, and truthfully, here's the situation, guys. To think logically about it, at that point, there's nothing that he could do. There's nothing anybody could do. She was gone. So at that point, there's really not any reason for him to go until he has to go, until he's okay enough to go, in my opinion. So I don't think he should ever be judged by anybody, whether for not going if he didn't go, or for going if he did go, you know, because we can't make that judgment call until we've all been in that position. And you know what, Natalie, I can see Christy being like that. I can see them all being like that if they were in denial and they didn't believe it, because they did not get any clear-cut information from anybody for quite a while based on what he even said. You absolutely did, CL, and that is so very much appreciated. I am not. Yeah. It wasn't me that was asking. It was Rumsey that I think was asking if you had done it again, because I think he saw the thing pop through. So I have no qualms. I'm very grateful to it. I think Rumsey was just curious because it thought he saw it twice. Either way, I am so very grateful for it. So thank you very much. Yeah, exactly, Rhode Island. Shock is absolutely correct. You know what I mean? Horrifying shock. Welcome, Vicky. Good to have you here. I would have been in the car as well. Sorry, folks. I would have been in the car as well. Sorry, my granddaughter was making all sorts of noise in the background. My apologies. Absolutely. We do definitely appreciate the support too, CL. And that's for all you guys. And it's not even got to be monetary. Hold on, folks. I need to have a talk with her real quick. Sorry about that. Anyway, it was doubled over when my sister. Yeah, it's horrible. Any situation like that is horrifying, and I would never wish that on my worst enemy, guys. Honestly, it's insanity, complete and total insanity. So we need to figure out at this point what the next one's going to be for Monday night. Does anybody have any suggestions for anything before I put mine out there? Either way. What's up, Travis? Thanks for jumping in tonight. Is that a movie, Housewife? I don't think I've ever heard of that one. Right, Sudi, right. It was interesting. Petit Family? I don't think I've ever heard of that. Oh, yes. Yeah, that's horrifying, too. Invasion Murder in Cheshire Court. That was a movie? Yeah, I need to try to make sure that they were movies. Oh, okay. Connecticut? What's the actual name of the movie called? Spec Murder, Chicago Nurses. They have to be based on movies, Carolyn, for sure. Or the movie. There has to be a movie that was based on the story, though. Oh, okay, no problem, Rhode Island. But it's something we could look into down the road. Is just covering it. You know what I mean? Because I still have the one, No Man of God, which was going to be one of them that I was going to put up for the vote tonight. And I do have a poll that I wanted to put up tonight on this, and I wanted it to be absolutely Miss Vicky. We're going to do 3 polls tonight. So the first one, while we're saying that's the other one I was thinking of, Bobby. Okay, yeah, I wanted to put that up too. So that's going to be those 2 then, and then I'm writing down the other stuff you guys are throwing at me if they're movies. But let's do this poll first, guys. I wanted to check into this one. Cheshire Murders. That's another one I'll be putting down for the list too. Did Joey coach Amy to shoot Mary Jo? Do you guys think that he knew and was trying to coerce her into getting rid of Mary Jo? Do you believe what she had said? And do you believe that it's a possibility that was real? So vote on that one, guys, and then we will set up the other 2 movies. And Cheshire Murders, I do remember that one. That will go to the list for sure. 50-50. Okay. You can vote both. Well, you got to vote one way or the other on it, but Leith Bonstein. Have to look into that. They had an advantage with having other siblings on campus. Yeah. Oh, the Jodi Arias. Did they make a movie out of that already? I think they did, actually. Thank you, Natalie. That is on the list now, too. Like I said, I like to take your guys' recommendations on top of the ones that I already have, so. I hate autocorrect. No, I got it, Vicky. Don't worry about it. I can read through the lines. It's all good. And there's the first poll. Did Joey coach or coerce Amy into shooting Mary Jo? Welcome, Dorian Costante. Patty Duke, that poor actress, lost the most TV kids than anyone I know. Good point, Rumsey. Good point. So tonight we're going to be voting on No Man of God and the Texas Killing Fields. And then I have the Cheshire murders and these other ones you guys put down that I'm adding to the list for us to look into for sure. Wow, that poll went actually pretty quick. 88%. I have not done that, D. Smith, not yet. I absolutely agree, Miss Carolyn. Sorry, 89% of you guys said yes, Joey coached Amy into shooting Mary Jo. 10% said no, and I am in the 89 percentile as well. I truly believe that he did. That way he wouldn't have to pay anything in the divorce. Awesome. All right, now we're going to vote on the movies and get that done, and that way you guys can take off if you'd like to. First one we're going on again is No Man of God. Depends if he helped her get the gun or he was. And you know, I've thought about that. Did he give her the money to get the gun? Because she didn't have money, guys. She wasn't making that much money at that time. I feel like he very well may have given her the money she needed to get the gun. So I can agree on that one, Rumsey. I feel like at that point that he was over his wife. You know, he thought he was going through a midlife crisis. Maybe he thought he was God's gift to whatever. And, you know, he was interested in these younger women, girls per se. And at that point, you know, that's, I think, how it worked. Let's vote, folks. Vote on it. Vote on it. No Man of God. Great movie, by the way. You have to check it out if you haven't. Yeah, I can definitely agree on that too, CO. You know what I mean? I mean, it just, back then, look up the statistics for that kind of thing going on in the early 90s, late 80s. It was huge, folks. Huge. Oh, I didn't even see him, Heather. Where at? Hey, Dorian? No. Oh, Grim Love and Rampage. Oh, okay. I never even heard of those. Sorry, I didn't see that. Let me write them down. I'll have to look those up. What'd you say, Rampage? The only Rampage I know of is the one that was based off the video game, so I will definitely be checking those out. Thank you, Miss Heather. I appreciate that. You usually have pretty good suggestions, too. Thank you, Miss Sherry. Appreciate that. Yeah, No Man of God, in my opinion, was a great one. I loved it. I did. We got to vote on it, folks, so we can get it off the board. Thank you, Ms. Heather. I'm gonna check those out for sure. What are you talking about there? D. Smith says, "Do whichever you want. I love you." Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that so very much. I try very hard to be the person that I am. And in my opinion, you guys don't deserve any less than what I can give you the best of. So that's why I do that. CL says seemed like more to the story in your opinion. I'm pretty sure there was. There was a lot of stuff I'm sure going on in the background that we never got word of or any kind of, you know what I mean? And probably never will, which is why he only spent 4 months in prison. She only spent the time she did. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, it was talked about that he was abusive. He wasn't very nice to his wife or his kids. So I'd like to know what his kids think about him and what their lives are like at this point. You know what I mean? Again, thank you, D. Smith. And thank you so very much, Carolyn. I do appreciate that. So are you. You guys are all very awesome. Very, very much so. Right, exactly, CO. All right, well, that one ain't moving anymore, so you guys must be done voting on it. Let's see what we got. 61% to 38. 61 said yes, 38 said no. All right. It's about half, a little bit more, a little less. And this is another great movie, too. The Texas Killing Fields. Please, please vote on this one. The Staircase. No, that's a great story, by the way. That's crazy. Thank you. Who said that? D. That's great. That's on my list. I completely forgot about that one. That's pretty insane. They have made that into a movie, too. And I will not. I refuse to do the true story behind the Gabby Petito Brian Laundrie movie because I won't even watch it. I'm so disgusted that they made that movie. I just, no. I was pretty heavy in that case, guys. I'm very unhappy with the outcome of that case, and I won't even do it. It's a good one, Star. It really is. And you guys will, I know which one's won already. Just by looking at this, you guys already picked it just by doing this. CL gifted 5 more memberships. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so very much, CL. Let's see. Looks like Rock Chalk is now a member. Tracy with an E was gifted a membership. D. Smith. Yeah, NC is nuts. Laura was gifted a membership. Andrew Bogner was gifted a membership. And Pink Butterfly was gifted a membership. Thank you guys, CL, so very much. I appreciate that. And welcome to the sauce, everybody. Welcome to the family. It's great to have you guys here. CL, that's absolutely beyond amazing. And again, thank you so very much for that. To everybody that has become part of the family. Welcome. Right, Carolyn, that's me. I have too much sadness and respect for her. So, yeah, again, another one. My wife was pissed about that one, the Shanquella Robinson case, because they've done nothing. They've done nothing for her. It makes me sick. We covered that case, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for the Justice Department to do something. They've done nothing. Nothing at all. Right. All right, folks. Looks like the Texas Killing Fields won by every bit of it. 85-14. Wow. So, there we go. That is the one. 1 second, everyone. Oh, yeah. Daniel Robinson. I covered that case, too. That's just sad. Completely sad.